Cydney Sullivan, welcome back. I'd like to talk to you about one of the most frequently asked questions that people come to me with, and that is, I have a story and I want to write a book. How do I structure it? How do I get it written? And this is something that I've spent a lot of time developing a system around because I had this very problem myself for many, many years. I've always loved books. I've been a passionate book reader ever since I was a child. I was that child that missed the whole holiday because I had my nose in a book. But I've always loved reading, and so of course from a young age dreamed of writing books myself. But the problem was I could start the books or I could come up with a really great idea for a story, but I just couldn't finish. You know, life would get in the way. I'd get 3/4 of the way through. And looking back now, I actually realized that for me, a lot of it was self-doubt. I actually would sabotage myself. I would get to about 3/4 of the way through and I would think, oh, who's going to read this anyway? People are not going to enjoy this book, and there's so many books out there. Why would anybody read mine? Well, I've now gone on to become a 16 times best-selling author at date of this recording. I'm sure I'll have plenty more in the years to come, because I have so many ideas for books now. Once I got out of my own way, not only was I able to start pounding out my own books, but I was also able to start helping a lot of other people to get their books written too. And it's become my passion to help other people figure out what their message is, articulate it, and get it written and published. So, and then of course, then we can help you promote beyond there and turn it into products, programs, trainings. We do this ourselves. So everything I do in my business, I say to my team, let's make this duplicatable, because I work with a lot of authors and they usually want to do what I'm doing when it's successful. So we look at how we can duplicate our systems that have worked for us and then make that something that our authors can step into themselves. So the question at hand is, how do I write my book? How do I plan it? How do I structure it? So I've developed a proprietary questionnaire and coaching system where if you take one of our high-end programs, we actually will work with you. We have book coaches. We'll actually interview you. We'll get the story out of you. We'll take you through a process of planning, because there's lots of different types of books that you might want to get written. And we figure out what's the best one for you. And this I developed because my very first book that I finally got written, I never actually did much with, because I didn't plan it. It's an okay book. It's a good book. It's a bestseller. It's been helping lots and lots of people. It's called How to Be Wealthy Now, 101 Ways, 101 Fast Cash Solutions. And I've had emails from people telling me that that book has helped them get out of serious debt. So it served its purpose. I wrote that book to help others. I sell it regularly, very low, do specials on it. I just wanted to get it out there. I never really did much with it. But because on the back of that, I had a goal myself that I wanted to learn how to make $1 million fast. So I went out and interviewed all these amazing millionaires that I admired who were doing good works in the world and asked them how they would do it if they were starting over. And I wrote the book Social Marketing Superstars, which became a huge success. That one actually went to the top of Amazon as a best-selling book. I was very lucky. I got picked up by some major media and it went out to hundreds of thousands of people, the promotions. So that book was very, very successful. And right on the back of that success, a lot of people started asking me if I could help them get their books written. They were like, how did you get those interviews? How did you get that book written? So the next thing I knew, I had become a publishing consultant and I was getting paid $10,000 to help people get their books out, and that kept me busy for a while. But I realized later that I'd made a bit of a mistake with that book too, in that I wanted to call that book The Fast Millionaire Formula, but my publishers talked me out of that name because they didn't like the whole get-rich-quick connection with that name. So they got me to make it more of a book about social media, which really wasn't me playing to my strengths. Because the thing that I had done well in my life was make millions of dollars, which was unusual. I was quite young. I was good at business. I didn't realize at the time that that was my strength. That was an area where I could talk with a lot of genuine credibility that other people just didn't have those kind of life experiences to draw from, because I had made money in lots of different fields: business, real estate, stock market, lots of different types of businesses. So I had a strong experience base to come from, and wonderful to have that experience because I now get to business coach a lot of my clients and I love it. I love to be able to draw on that experience. But I actually launched myself with that book, Social Marketing Superstars, as more of a social media consultant, which wasn't so much my strength. I do a lot of stuff with social media, but I'm not a techie. It's not really my point of passion. So what I do now with a lot of my clients is I try and make sure that we're writing the right book for you, one that you could talk about for years to come, one that you can feel proud of, one that you would be very, very happy to give away to people. And I am very proud of that book, and I do give it to people on a regular basis because they tell me they get so much good advice out of that book. It's a whole step-by-step system, and I like to write my business books in that way. So what we do with you, if you come and work with us, is we help you figure out: are you writing a how-to book? Are you writing a guidebook, or is it a autobiography? Is it a story? Is it a novel? Are you telling your story in the form of metaphoric learning? So we figure out what is the way you want to structure your book to get the results that you're after, because we're all unique. And then from there, we start extracting it, and we start just getting it out of you. Now, if you don't have all the information to write your book, you can just do what I did. You just bring in some other experts, interview them, and you get that book completed. Plus, now you've got some brilliant joint venture partners to help you promote the book and create a training program if you so want to. So there's a lot of different solutions to help you get to your goals. And one of the things that I think is most important when you're thinking about planning your book is setting those goals. What's the goal for this book? And it might be as simple as you want to tell your story and record it so that it's not lost, so that you can pass it on to your children, give it to your friends, pass it down to your grandchildren for generations to come if you've had an extraordinary life. Isn't it wonderful to record that and have it published forever? And the good news is that once we help you get published, well, you're a published author forever. And nowadays we have these wonderful platforms like Amazon and iBooks, where it's very easy to get our books online on all sorts of platforms all over the internet, and you can have them there for all posterity. They'll be there forever, I'm assuming, as long as the internet's around. And we also usually give our clients the printing files. So if you want to get them printed in small quantities or large quantities, say you're a public speaker or you're a corporate and you have a lot of people that you want to give your book out to, we can help you with organizing all that printing, or help you find your own printer if that's something that you are interested in doing. And in another training, I'll take you through the different types of publishing, because there's self-publishing, hybrid publishing, and then there's publishing the traditional way with maybe a large, big name publisher that there's lots of pros and cons. And so I'll take you through a training on which one might be better for you and why our clients choose us over putting a book proposal into, say, a big publisher, which we can certainly help you do. Because there's certain advantages with using a hybrid publisher over self-publishing or using a big publisher. So I'll take you through that in another training that's a bit more complex. If you want to go and write your book yourself without, we do have an online training program, which is one of our lower cost investment ways that you can work with us, and we take you step by step through our system, and you can do it at your own pace. And we have an author community where you can get support from the other authors. So we've tried to make sure that we can help you as much as we can, whatever your budget. And then I have a lot of free trainings right here on this site. But if you have no budget and you still want to get your book out, well, my advice to you is just, foundation is your outline. This is the most important thing that I see clients getting wrong when they're trying to write their books. Really spend some time getting that outline right, which would be, it'll end up being your table of contents. Your draft outline for your book is your chapter headings. So just start with 10 steps that you want to take your reader through. And even if you're writing a novel, what's that journey look like? So how are you going to begin your book? How are you going to end your book? And what is that journey you're going to take them through in the process of writing that book? And then you can start just fleshing out those steps, and that's your book written. But you've really got to get that foundation right. And yes, it can be flexible. Just, you get that first 10 steps out. It might end up being 20. It might end up being 7. That's okay. It will evolve as you write it. And if you find there's one particular part of the book where it's really holding you up getting the whole thing finished, that's where you can either bring in another expert if it's a business book and get them to just complete that for you. Don't let that hold you up, and because it might be a form of self-sabotage that you're using to not finish. And if it's a novel or something, well, maybe just leave that part out or find a way around it, okay? Don't let that be a reason for not finishing and getting your book out. So that's my advice to you, and I hope that's answered your question about how do you get your book written. There's definitely systems that you can plug into, and there's an important reason why you might want to get somebody who's an experienced publisher helping you, and that is that this book is going to be around for a long time. It's going to represent you for a long time. So you really want to put it out in a professional way. Hopefully that's been helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next training.